Breaking news. Stay tuned. I think I have figured out why people are so obsessed with toilet paper. Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, and welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. As usual, drink it. Drink it if you got it. I got it. Well, it's Saturday morning, the 5th of October already. I've been puzzled at the response to both the storm and the dock strike. And I say, Mitch. And I say, what? I say, Mitch, what the hell is it that makes toilet paper so important to people? And I answer, we need to think about that. Figure that out, because it's very strange. And I have been thinking about that. I have been thinking it's time for us. It's time for us to analyze this. It happens every time. It seems the first thing that people think that they need, their greatest fear would be not having that handy roll of paper to wipe their asses. And I say to myself, Mitch, and I answer, what? I say, why aren't they more worried about food? After all, if they run out of food in a short time, wiping their ass would be a moot point. They wouldn't need toilet paper anymore. And I say, Mitch, you have a good point there. Why aren't people concerned more about stocking up on food than they are about stocking up on toilet paper? And I say, well, they are concerned about food and bottled water. Everybody's concerned about drinking water. I think everybody drinks way too much water anyway. If you're worried about flushing the toilet, just while you got water, fill up a bathtub and use a pitcher. Fill up the toilet tank. You'll be good for weeks like that. Doesn't matter if the water is drinkable anymore. You're flushing the toilet with it. And maybe you'll be able to get rid of all that toilet paper that you've used. So I try to figure out what's the real reason that people are so concerned, that it's become such a big issue. I mean, I was in Sam's Club the other morning. Because of the dock strike, I saw people walking out of there with enough toilet paper to last them for the rest of their natural lives. And paper towels. It's crazy. It's crazy. Mankind, human, all animals on the planet Earth live without toilet paper. Human beings, for the first few million years of our existence, had no toilet paper. There was no such thing. What the hell? And as I usually do, I came up with a theory. Now, this theory might need to be tested, because that's what a theory is. It's a hypothesis. Hypothesis doesn't prove anything. Like when Ansel Keys said, I think that cholesterol causes arteries to get clogged and inevitably causes heart attacks. That was a hypothesis, a theory. Now, unfortunately, Ansel Keys was a very shitty scientist. And instead of actually testing his theory, which is still to this day never been proven by real science, he created some fraudulent science and claimed to have proven his hypotheses with his 7-country study, which in itself was not real science. But even if it wasn't real science, he handpicked the 7 countries out of 20-something that actually supported his hypotheses. Well, that's the way hypotheses are. And so much of what we go by today, so many of the numbers, so many of the ranges of blood tests of what's good and bad, so many, especially cholesterol, don't jive at all with the real world results. What's this got to do with toilet paper, you say? Well, I have a theory. Hasn't been tested yet or proven. Probably never will. And the reason is, how are you ever going to get the data that makes any sense or is anything other somebody's opinion or an answer to a question on a survey? There are things we cannot study in this world. And one of them is definitively blaming a root cause on the reason that people hoard toilet paper. Now you may say, well, that sounds really stupid. Why do we need to know that? Why do we need to know anything? I think knowing too much is just screwing us up. You know how I feel about not micromanaging your own health and physiology and letting your body do what it knows how to do and has done since the beginning of life on this planet. But that doesn't stop people from always looking for an easy answer, the next great supplement or the next great chemical. It's going to life extension and all this stuff. I still don't see many 120-year-olds running around, and I've heard about this life extension crap since Pearson and Shaw back in the 60s and 70s with their life extension empire of supplements. I see all these videos about it. Leave your physiology to your own subconscious and the programming that we have. But what's that got to do with toilet paper? Because that's what you told us this was about, Mitch. Yes, I did. And I'll tell you about my theory, even though I have no way to prove it. But I'll tell you about my hypotheses, and you tell me if you think that could be, right after I light my cigar. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to enjoy these things that I enjoy without condemning me, calling me a hypocrite, as I allow you to enjoy the things that you want to do without judgment, giving you credit for your own intelligence and making your own decisions. I'm not much for rules. I'm more for guidelines. The discussion of my theory of why people hoard toilet paper and would kill over that last roll of toilet paper at the Walmart in a frenzied riot. It's not a pleasant thing to talk about. It involves poop talk. And we get into poop talk a lot. We get into poop talk a lot in talking about carnivore because it's so interrelated with our diet. Obviously, what goes in this hole comes out that hole eventually. Unless our body actually needs and uses what we put in this hole. What a novel concept. What a novel concept. To eat. Listen, I mean, this is going to break new ground. This is going to make John Harvey Kellogg turn over in his grave. Because John Harvey Kellogg's mission 100 years ago at the Battle Creek Sanitarium was to find a diet that resulted in the biggest number of enormous bowel movements per day and use that as an indicator of health. Think about that. Think about that. The bigger your dumps are, and the more frequently every day you have these gargantuan dumps, the healthier you are. And what happens? What happens when you take gargantuan dumps 5 times a day? You guessed it. You go through one shitload of toilet paper. No pun intended. And over the years, since those days, our entire philosophy of diet, of health, has grown from that humble beginning of focusing on that definition of health, tremendous, gargantuan bowel movements multiple times a day, and eating the diet that will give us that. And here we are, still believing that today. Eat more fiber, it's essential. Eat stuff that has no nutritional value whatsoever, that your body can't use, that your body spends all of its time or energy just trying to get rid of in a messy, painful, constipated, hemorrhoidal, diverticulosis-riddled digestive system that can't decide whether it's going to be diarrhea today or bowel obstruction tomorrow, that makes enormous messes and inconvenience when you gotta clean up afterwards, and cements in our minds the fact that if we run out of toilet paper, how the hell are we going to survive? That's my theory. The digestive health of most people is so bad that their bathroom experiences are such a huge, colossal mess. And they've gotten so used to going through an entire roll of toilet paper every time they open the bathroom door. The thought of having to deal with that mess without a year's supply of toilet paper in reserve becomes more important than the food itself. How did I come to this conclusion? I came to this conclusion because I don't go through one roll of toilet paper a week in my house now. The last thing I worry about is, am I going to run out of toilet paper? I don't make big colossal messes anymore. I'm lucky if I even have a bowel movement every 3 or 4 days. Why is that? And yes, I'm going to tie this back into why carnivore is best. It's because everything we eat is something our body needs. We create very little waste on a carnivore diet, and most of that waste, believe it or not, is the stuff that your body, the cells that are being replaced, is just the stuff that's left after autophagy and other cleansing physiology of the body, just like the trash in my house that I take out just once a week, and usually just one bag, because it's not full of pizza boxes from Pop-Tarts, tremendous amounts of garbage. Just about all the food that I buy ends up becoming what I'm made of. You are what you eat. I learned that lesson, that equating health with bodily waste has been a false narrative since the very beginning. Since the very beginning. It has screwed up and caused so many digestive disorders, created so many inconvenient, messy bathroom adventures for the average person, that toilet paper has been elevated in our minds to the level that it is now, and something that life would be an absolute living nightmare without. Think that sounds crazy, my friends? If you've got a better idea, you let me know. Because right now, I think I'm on to something. I hate to try to make a joke out of this, but I think I'm right. I actually think I'm right. And I don't think there's a carnivore. Think about this. I don't think there's a carnivore out there that gives a second thought to toilet paper. Not one that's been a carnivore for a while. My friends, the world's a funny place. Today's Saturday. I've got a live stream this afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern. And I really look forward to seeing you there. I enjoy those live streams. And chat away. And in the chat, I'll be open to alternative theories. And we can discuss them, because it's a very fascinating subject and does tie back in beautifully to how we've been misled over 100 years, and some of the really unforeseen ramifications of the fact that we shouldn't be eating based on creating more and more bodily waste. You'd think that'd be obvious. Somebody tell the doctors. Somebody tell the doctors. Like so many other things, we are getting more stupid year after year, as the brains of the average human animal in this civilization, especially in this country, are deteriorating, malfunctioning, like a car that has 500,000 miles on it and still has the same dirty, malfunctioning spark plugs. Somebody needs to change the oil, and in this case, changing the oil is changing the diet. 30 days, my friends. We have some important decisions to make, but that's politics. Until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to go out on a little happy music here this morning. So take the rest of the day off and eat meat while I relight my cigar.